things I want to address in this video. Um, First and foremost is all over my page is nothing but criminal theories that's going on quite a bit. And even though, I believe that anything's a possibility out there in the mountains for a reason why someone goes missing, until there's any evidence that proves otherwise, the first place to focus is the mountain. Um, So that being said, I want to address some things about that. The best way I could address that issue, that conspiracy, is stating the facts that we know. So in any type of search operations planning phase, one of the first things that search and rescue does or is supposed to do is hand the reporting party or the closest family member, father or mother or husband or significant other, a lost person questionnaire or a missing person questionnaire. Different jurisdictions have different terms for it, but it's either the lost, the LPQ or the, MPQ. And in that, it's usually between an 8 to 20 page document that I've seen that, has the basic characteristics of the person, physical, health, habits, what would they do in different scenarios, lots of different things in this questionnaire. And what the questionnaire does is the questionnaire gives the search operations manager an insight into the lost person's mind and how they might react to different things that comes about in their journey of when they're out there. And then when I first started, talking to Brad, and Jamie, and offering our assistance, that was the thing that came up was like, hey, was a lost person questionnaire ever given to you or to Jamie or to anybody, to kind of get an idea of, what Rachel would do and how she would react. And, Brad and Jamie never got one, and we don't know if her mother ever filled one out for the search planning process. So that's usually one of the first things that happen. And anytime I get involved, that's the same thing I do. I mean, I know a lot of people out there is like, oh yeah, you're not certified, you're not serious, you're not professional like all these other guys are. I'm just as serious and just as professional. I'm just as dedicated as those guys that got their certificates and who goes and trains and practices in a controlled environment. I don't have that luxury. I don't have I don't do that. No, if we're training, yeah, we're training out there in the woods. Yeah, it's a controlled environment, but a lot of experience comes from just doing it when it matters most. So, the thing I did is I, gave Brad and Jamie both the LPQ to try to figure out, what happened, what went down, what do we know for a fact that will lead us to be able to find Rachel, what's going to drive us the closest to her. And based on the LPQs, and witness reports, this is what we know. We know that on the day of 10/17 of 2019 at about 10 o'clock before noon, the second storm of the season was rolling in. And it was a good storm. The prior storm was in September, and we were out searching for Sam, me, Kevin, and Clay, when that storm came in, and it just pretty much got everything cold, all the rocks. It was really hard to climb, but and dusted the peaks with snow, nothing to avalanche or anything like that. But this storm was the second storm, and it was dumping. And I pulled up through NOAA. You could go on to NOAA and request actual data. Here's a printout right here. It's kind of small of what the conditions at the time of observation were. This is a tower at Lake Lyman, which is a few miles away from Hidden Lake. So we have that information. The only thing that did not have on there due to failure was wind speed. We did not have wind speed from that tower. Wind speed was determined by the tower up at Cascade Pass. I mean, not Cascade Pass, Rainy Pass up there on Highway 20. Now, at 10 o'clock, it started snowing, and it was observed at 4 inches per hour was falling up high, above like 5,000 feet. Winds were pretty much a sustained 20-mile-an-hour wind, with gusts between 30 and 50 miles an hour. Last person to see Rachel was Jamie when she came and picked up the Jeep, and that was around 7:30 to 8ish. I guess she had to run back to her house and pick up a few things before she headed out. And from where she lived to Marble Mount is about a 4.5 hour drive, and then you got to get up to the mountains to the trailhead. So I put her travel time around 5 to 6 hours, and that would put her at trailhead around 1 to 2. So up high was already storming, probably raining down low, not real bad, but definitely up high it was overcast and storming up there. Now we know that around 4 o'clock she was reported to be heading up the trail at the PLS. PLS originally was in the drainage zone, but now it's been changed to another about half mile, 3/4 a mile away from the original PLS. The reporting party said that they got up to 6,500 feet, and decided to abandon their ascent and turned around 1,500 hours and headed down the trail. And that's where they ran into her around 1,600 hours. Now, the conditions that they said at the time was 18 to 24 inches of snow, high wind, and pretty much dumping snow. Through the lost person questionnaire, found out that she would not have had snow goggles. She would have had, Jamie put down that she had some cheap aviators that were bought at Walmart. So no side shields, nothing to keep the wind out of your eyes. That is a serious thing out here in the wilderness, is snow blindness and frostbite to your eyes. If you're in, 30-mile-an-hour winds and it's 30 degrees out, you're just above 0 degrees to 10 degrees wind chill factor. Your eyes will freeze and you will go blind. And then what do you do? So we know that from there, 4 o'clock, which would put her about here, PLS, 4 o'clock. Now I'm figuring she arrived at 2 o'clock. Jamie said her packs usually ran around 40 pounds, 30 to 40 pounds. So I would give her, headed up the trail where it's not really bad in snow, I'd give her an average of 1.5 to 2 miles an hour, which would fit in with timeline, because if she arrived at PLS at 4, we believe, if it took her 5 to 6 hours from 8 o'clock, that would put her around 1 or 2 to trailhead. So that would give her about an average of 1.5 miles to 2 miles an hour to get from trailhead to PLS. After that, when she's in 18 to 24 inches of snow, the best I would give her would be 0.5 mile an hour in those conditions. That's what I would give her in those conditions. So what do we know? We got all these people, and bless their hearts, some of them were on the Sam Sayers search, and I love some of them. Some of them have been great. Some of them helped me. Leanne helped me with my knee. My knee has never had a problem since she zapped my knee from the Sam Sayers search. So, I love that gal. And she has a point. She's lived in the Mountain Loop area for a long time. There's lots of criminal activity in the Mountain Loop area. So, her bringing those up, has merit to it and has weight to it. And nothing should ever be ruled out definitively unless you can, through evidence and facts, rule it out definitively. But right now, we don't have anything to send law enforcement or family private investigators in that direction. And sometimes no evidence is the greatest evidence, as in, Sam's search and where Lisa's going with her thing, pursuing that. So here we go. And a lot of people think that, all it is fun and games. Like, oh yeah, I'm up on the mountain searching and having fun, skipping around. I make it seem easy, and you got to make it fun, because it's suffering up there. I mean, your feet are cold. You're, out there in the danger zone, even though it might be dangerous, but there's always the X factor. I can stick my head in one of those cat hollows, and there's a cougar in there, and he rips my face off. So you never know when the X factor might hit. But when I'm not up there on the mountain, this is where I'm at. I'm in front of my war board. I'm going through all the books, lost person behavioral books. I'm going through different scenarios. I'm got tons of maps that I'm writing on for different things. Trying to figure out all the facts, trying to investigate, talking to people, doing whatever, planning areas, then prepping gear. There's a lot more than just we're storming off to the mountain like some idiots. So these are the known facts. Rachel left on 10/17/19 at 0730 to 0800 hours approximately, drove either Highway 20 or Highway 90 route, and would have arrived around the trailhead between 1 and 2 p.m. Rachel has never been to the area previously. The severe winter storm moved into the area beginning around 1000 hours. Rain and snow mix in lower elevation with increasing snow and wind in higher elevations. Sustained winds in the 20s with gusts of 30 to 50 miles per hour. Snow was reported at 4 inches per hour with a reported depth at end of observation of 18 to 24 inches. Rachel was an inexperienced and under-equipped for the conditions. Rachel did not own a dry bag for her gear, and she did not have a waterproof bivy for her sleeping bag. She did not have the survival skills to survive the night out in those conditions. Rachel was newly separated from her husband for 2 months, and the feeling of independence, challenge, and determination may have been the driving force for her to reach her goal in such conditions. Rachel ran across a couple, a man and a wife, descending from 6,500 feet. Reporting parties stated that they turned around due to conditions at 1,500 hours, which is 3 o'clock approximately. PLS was established at 1,400 hours approximately at 5,500 feet elevation. They advised Rachel to turn around. She declined and continued up. She asked about trail conditions and other info. Rachel planned for an overnight stay within the Hidden Lake Lookout with a descent to the trailhead on 10/18/19. The very next day, she was planning on going down. She planned visiting a friend on her way home Friday night in the city of Bellingham at 1900 hours. Bellingham from trailhead would probably be maybe a little over 2 hours away. So she was planning on enjoying her morning in the lookout for a while and having a really nice, easterly trip back until she found out the conditions that she was in. So she was giving her some time on Friday to get back down, whether she knew that the conditions were going to be bad and she was going to need it, or that she just wanted to enjoy some more time up there alone because it is beautiful views. We do not know that. Her friend reported her overdue at 2100 hours, 9 p.m. Friday night. SAR launched a hasty search that night, time unknown. Family was notified the next day. From 10/18/19 to 10/18/19 to 10/22/19, many SAR teams, helicopters, K9 teams made numerous attempts to reach the lookout. On 10/22 at approximately 1400 hours, NAS Whidbey Island dropped a rescue technician to the lookout. Rachel was not found there, and no evidence was observed that she made it to the lookout. No evidence has been found on the mountain, which would lead to Rachel's whereabouts. A few items not believed to be Rachel's have been found. So, conclusion. Rachel was an experienced trail hiker in normal to moderate conditions and was equipped for moderate conditions. On an overnight stay at Hidden Lake Lookout. She was not in conditions at the time and is believed she should succumb to the elements due to injury or exhaustion. It is believed that after PLS, Rachel would follow the witness marks left by the reporting party until there were no signs of the trail tracks. Upon no sign of direction, Rachel would have begun dead reckoning navigational skills. Now, dead reckoning navigational skills, a lot of people don't even know that term, and they don't even think that, well, what is that even? What is it? And it's actually a natural human trait, a natural human skill that everybody pretty much has. And what it is it's kind of like, it's guesstimation. That's all it is. It's pretty much guesstimation. You're trying to guess where you are from a point from where you came from a known point, or a guesstimated point. So, okay, I think that I went this, so I've gone this far in this amount of time, and I have these forces around me making me sway. Where am I? So that's dead reckoning. So everybody does that when they're lost, whether they realize they're doing it or not. So if you don't know what dead reckoning is, practice it, because it can save your life if you know how to use it. It is believed that Rachel's best chance of survival would be to make it to the lookout versus head back down to her vehicle. Why is this? Well, she, in her mind, is only, a mile or two away at PLS, a mile or two away from the lookout, versus going down 2 miles to the truck. So, and in her mind, she's not lost. She's just disoriented. She knows where she needs to go. She needs to go up. She needs to get to the highest point, which is actually the second highest point in that range or along that ridge. So, she knows that she's got to get to the highest point, and that's where the lookout will be. Rachel would have been navigating in whiteout conditions, which is really tough to do. Rachel did not have snow goggles with her. Blindness, frostbite to the eyes would make navigating by sight near impossible. So what would she need to do? She's coming up, she's in the headwind. Wind's coming right at her face. She don't have snow goggles. It's getting late in the day. It's already overcast pretty damn well, so your lighting conditions are low. Everything is pretty much white. Your eyes are just freezing and just tearing up with water because of the cold. You got to get your eyes out of the wind. Does she have a jacket with her where she could do that? Does she go down against the trees on the leeward side of the tree line to try to make her way up? Or does she try to go up on top of the ridge and jump on the other side to get on the lee side of the wind there? Because if she can't see, she can't move. If she can't move, it's a really horrible situation. So I believe that she would have either tried to go into the trees to break out a wind, to maintain her eyesight, or go over the ridge to get out of the wind. But it comes down to time. Due to the depths of snow, right? We're talking 8 inches. Urgency to make it to the lookout in time. Injury from post-holing, as we call it out in the mountains, and that's where you're going through snow and there's big rocks and boulders, and you think you're stepping on something flat, but there's a giant hole down there, and they can swallow your whole body. A leg goes down, you're in a hurry, and you go completely forward, and you break a leg, you blow out your knee, you sprang it, you're injured, lower extremity injury, you're not moving in those conditions. So that's another thing that could have took place. Or sheer exhaustion. Being in those conditions is tough. Walking through 24 inches of snow, cold, wet, and windy. I mean, you're just sucking calories like there's no tomorrow. You are freezing. You are cold. You are trying to move. And it's like going through mud. You will wear yourself out. And that is why I give Rachel, a best average of 0.5 miles per hour. So if we go to this map, here's our winds. I don't know if you can see it. Winds are coming in 20, 30 miles an hour. The trail's here. She's coming up the trail. Here's PLS, 4 p.m. She's about 2 miles in and got about 2 miles to go. There's still witness marks in the snow from the people before. So I believe that she's going to continue up those witness marks, thinking that's going to get her so close she'll see the lookout and be able to get up there. So if we give her from PLS another hour of movement at 0.5 mile an hour, that would put her about right here. I can actually move this closer. That would put her right about here. And these circles represent the 0.3 probability zone from specific points of interest or points of, contact with PLS, and we have a 0.3 circumference around there. At an hour out 5 p.m. at 0.5 mile an hour would put her here on the trail. If we gave her another hour at 0.5 mile an hour, it would put her here at the trail. Now, reporting party said they turned around at 6,500 feet at 3 o'clock. Now, that would put them right about here
if they were at 6,500 feet, or somewhere along this line if they were off a trail around 6,500 feet. So they actually, if they actually turned around at 6,500 feet, traveled 2 miles down approximately in 1 hour to PLS. Those guys were moving good in those conditions. And then we got a purple ring for around there in the 0.3. Then we have our target, Hidden Lake Lookout, of where she was trying to get to with 0.3 around that. So this is the anomaly that I saw and people's been talking about, and they went and flew drone over and, couldn't determine anything. And the greens are the various search areas where we've searched since we've started. This was my solo search, and this right above the original PLS. This was original PLS. So this is where I searched first after knowing that, and then in here. So we got, a few searches in there that they did and that we did. So, right now all the facts lead us to the conclusion that she went into a storm. It was complete whiteout conditions. She was not equipped or experienced to be able to survive the night there. She either got injured, but from snow blindness, frostbite to the eyes, lower extremity injuries, or pure exhaustion. And she had to take immediate shelter. And there is so much shelter up there to take. In the trees, I mean, you ain't got to go far to be able to find a place to get out of the rain, wind, and snow. And that would be like in a tree hollow, up against some trees, or I believe under a rock, inside a rock hollow, a rock crevice, because those rocks had sun on them. They'll keep you warm. They'll reflect heat back to you. You can get out of the rain and wind and snow. So that's what I would do out there. If I couldn't move any further, I'm going inside a rock hollow and getting up in there and wedging myself as deep in there into the most driest, out of the wind, and warmest spot underneath there. Now the only thing is she wasn't prepared for wet conditions. Like, all my gear goes into one giant 65-liter Sea Line dry bag. Everything goes into that. And that keeps all my gear dry, and I carry it with me pretty much all year round. Even when I know it's not going to rain, I still have my stuff in there, because if I have to cross a creek, it doubles as a good flotation device also. So she didn't have that. She didn't have a waterproof bivy sleeping bag. In those conditions, you need a negative 30-degree sleeping bag with a waterproof bivy, and she did not have that. So, if she got into her sleeping bag inside a rock hole and her sleeping bag's wet and her clothes are wet and all her gear's wet, it's like an ice box. There's nothing you can do. You're just going to fall asleep to never wake up again. And I hate to say it, but that's what happens to you. That's what would happen to me if I got caught out there like that. I would die the same way. And that's why I make sure that me and everybody out there is very well prepared in it. So people are saying, oh well, Jamie could have gone up there and got. I've seen that man move. That man moves slow as molasses in the wintertime. I don't think there's any way from that he would have been able to caught up on the trail to her without that couple seeing him coming down, and to be able to actually him go into those conditions himself unprepared, inexperienced, and find Rachel out there to do some heinous thing. And I don't see it in the dude. The dude's a huge teddy bear. He's a huge teddy bear. I appreciate everybody that puts that stuff on my page, and it's good to look at all scenarios and aspects. But right now, 90% plus, she is out there under the rocks, and the little opening that she crawled into is still covered with snow, and and that's where she's going to be found, or she's going to be leaning up beside a rock out of the wind, or on the leeward side of some trees out of the wind, covered in snow. And, this is the urgency to me with it. And the urgency with me with it is, I'm a father. I got a 9-year-old and a 4-year-old. The worst thing that ever any parent to think of is to outlive your child. That's not in the laws of nature. It's not right at all. But if I had to if I had to lay my child to rest, I would want to be able to do it where, I can hold my child, look at, him or her, and lay her or him, in the ground. I don't want to get too graphic and gruesome talking about someone's loved one that's deceased, but come spring, summer, if when she's up there and everything starts to thaw out, all the bears and the cats and the predators and the scavengers, they're gonna come out, and they're gonna find her first. They're gonna find her before anybody else does, and people are just gonna find bits of clothing and bits of Rachel. And that's why, I'm so gung-ho to be able to help before the winter closes down, because, hey, I've met Brad, we've gone up on the mountain, love the dude, such a great guy. Jamie, he's got a big heart, he's out there searching, even, he asks me all the time, am I doing any good, should I be out here, I just feel like, I'm slowing you guys down, and, blah, 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 and trying to talk himself out of it because other people are trying to talk him out of it. I'm sure he's seeing the same stuff. Oh, you're gonna get yourself killed. Oh, everybody's gonna die. Your family can't lose another one and everything. And it's like, no, dude, look, you're spiritually connected to her, and you can just take that one time where you're out there and your guys' spirits align, and she pulls you right to her, and she's found. I was like, at the bare minimum, at least you're self-fulfilling what you need for your soul and your heart in the grieving process. I know how that helped out Kevin a lot searching for Sam. So it's like, and here's another set of eyes. And as long as you follow direction good and you don't go beyond your abilities, you're going to be just fine, just like he was Saturday and every other time he's gone up there, even without me. And Brad was like, yeah, a lot of people are, a little worried about me, coming up here with a guy I've never met in the mountains, and they've been getting their head filled by all sorts of people of how dangerous it is. And when Craig come up on Saturday, he was a big backcountry skier, and mountaineer. He was like, dude, this ain't nothing. He's like, I come out here at the end of the winter and ski this shit all the time and go through here. This ain't dangerous, this is a cakewalk. And what sucks is I did a video on a GoPro the other day of me skipping up the mountain with no crampons on, yodeling. But I thought I turned my GoPro on, but I actually turned my GoPro off, so I couldn't get the footage of me skipping up the mountain. And then when I was coming down, I was skipping down the mountain yodeling, and then every time I had like a really good shoot, I just jump on my ass and just slide down the chute. But I didn't get that footage. But that's beside the point. So yeah, Rachel's on that mountain, and it's only going to take people being up there to find her. I don't think any criminal foul play is involved whatsoever. So please, let's keep that to a minimum off my page. And when evidence presents itself for that, that's something I still want off my page. That's law enforcement. That's their deal. If there's criminal elements to it, that's on them. And I would suggest and advise anybody to stay out of that, because it can taint a case or ruin a case. So that's why anybody starts going on about criminal stuff, I try to stay away from it, because it's like, yeah, I don't want to. If it's that way, I don't want to taint it at all with anything. Now another thing I want to address is our involvement. Brad wants us out there. Jamie wants us out there. Lots of their friends and family wants us out there. Lots of Rachel's family and friends don't want us out there. And I know earlier I posted on my page a pretty, nasty post in response to her, and I want to apologize to that to an extent. When somebody attacks me, I'm a warrior. I'm punching them fucking back. I ain't taking to the chin and turn the other cheek. I ain't a saint. So when I get attacked, and not just me, but when somebody attacks my crew, all right, when they say the 49th team, they're talking about me, Bud Carr, Clay, Clizzo, I'm not going to give his last name out, Ryan, Woods, Kevin, Cheryl, and anybody else that has gone out in the mountains with me. Chief Warrant Officer 5 Darius, I mean, he's part of it just as much, even if it's just, hey, I'm sending some badass maps from fucking Louisiana. So, there's more than just Bud Carr as a lone man out there searching. There's a lot of people. So when you attack somebody that's in my team that I love, I really get hot under the collar. Case in point, Clay. Now, Clay, I put this earlier in a response. A lot of people don't know this. Clay is lucky to be alive. He is a medical freak. He had 12 brain surgeries, and he should be dead by now from a severe aneurysm. They actually put like a few ounces of platinum in his brain to encapsulate the aneurysm to keep him alive. It was a radical experimental surgery that was never performed before. They performed it on him and saved his life. Any injuries to the head, and he could be done. Any crazy altitude changes, and he could be done. He could slip in his shower and hit his head against the side and be dead. A kid could throw a ball and hit him in the side of his head. He could be dead. He could just be walking along and all of a sudden, boom, lights out, and my best friend's dead. And we brought this up to him before, hey, dude, you don't have to be out there. Because, like, on Saturday, he was supposed to go out. But he started having some brain problems, on Saturday morning. And, before I came over to get him, he texted me. He's like, yeah, man, my head's hurting. I don't feel good. I might have to sit this one out. And I was like, yeah, no problem, bro. You ain't got to explain yourself to me. And then I was like, take care, make sure it's not nothing serious, and keep me in the loop. And then, he's like, nah, screw it. I'm going out there. Come on, come pick me up. So Ryan showed up, and we went over there to pick him up, and we pull in. We're like, yeah, he text message, hey, we're here. And he comes out, and he's like, dude, no, I want to, but I can't. My head's just really in a bad place. It's not doing good, and I just can't go out there. No worries, dude. Go in and rest. Go see the doctor. Go handle what you need to handle, and we'll go handle what we need to handle. So we always try to, that's why you usually see him always in a helmet before any of those of us else. He's always pretty much helmet on. Anytime he's back there, and so I know some people make fun of him. Look at that guy with a helmet, and it's not even dangerous. He ain't got to worry about rockfall or anything. And that's the reason why Clay wears a helmet pretty much 99% of the time when he's out there, is because of that. So here's Clay who, he believes in his heart and his soul that, hey, it would be better for me to die out in the woods doing something right than it would be if I just had a brain aneurysm kicking on the Xbox, or if I fell in the shower and hit my head and died. So when they start attacking, to me, I take it personally, you're attacking Clay. Like, here's this man literally risking his life. Granted, you don't have to, and, some people might argue, oh, well, that's pretty stupid to have a guy like that out there, and it's like, no, look, it's not. Any one of us could die out there at any time. And what's greater than dying amongst your friends and dying doing what you do? Everybody dies laying down. Lots of people die laying down in hospital beds and shit. Not me. I don't want to die that way. Clay don't want to die that way. So, so when you got a guy like this, like Clay, that's, going out there and putting his life on the line, we're all putting our life on the line at some point, in some way, for complete strangers. And we just get crapped on over it, and oh, you guys are jokes, oh, you guys are amateurs, oh, you guys are inexperienced, oh, you guys are ill-equipped. It's like, bullshit. Look, I got my equipment's way better than any of those SAR guys' equipment. I'm just a professional and tactical with my operations planning and what I do to go out there. I'm not just some dumbass hick that just says, hey, let's go, man, let's grab a pack of Busch beer and we'll go hit the mountain. So yeah. So I mean, it's discouraging, and I'll lash out and I'll fight back. I'm not going to allow people to disparage against me or disparage against my brothers out there, and yeah, I'm not gonna do it. We went through with the Sam thing, and I thought, okay, I'm just by my time. Should I step out? I'm a quitter. I'm not a fucking quitter. How should I make somebody that disparages against me eat crow? Do I go up there and find her and be like, huh, hey, aren't you glad I went up there and found your child? Or do I say, hey, your child's never going to be found because nobody's going to be out there searching. There ain't no SAR guys out there searching. Everybody that I've met out there searching are doing it on their own time. And SAR did go out and search, but they only have, this is the season where they only have so much resources and so much budget to be out there to save people's lives. It's totally understandable. Nothing against them. Like, they need to save their resources and their budgets to be able to save people's lives, and that's why they gung hoed it. Because Brad was like, well, it just seemed like they just charged out. I'm like, yeah, exactly. That was the plan at first. The initial plan was to charge out in the storm and save her. There's nothing wrong with that. Totally get that done. Fill out your lost persons questionnaire. Develop a search operational plan. Go more than just what the statistics said. They searched everything down here. When you look at the map, here's PLS, here's Trailhead. All this is pretty much trail down. I mean, this is covered great. They covered the shit out of that area, man. And then we have a few trail up. Not a lot up here. And that's because lost person behavior says that 89% of people who are lost hikers, everybody has a different category, and every category has different statistics. So 89% of lost hikers go downhill. 7% go uphill, and the remainder percent stays about the same level. Now, when I first heard about it, I knew she's within the 7%. She's going up. That's her plan. She's not lost. She knows where she's at. She's dead reckoning. She knows where she needs to get to, the highest point. Therefore, she's going up. She's determined. She knows where she needs to get to, the highest point. Therefore, she's going up. She's determined. That's her goal. It's her birthday. We're going up there. But the way they operate and what they operate by, because statistics show that that's the best chance. That's the greatest thing to do. That's the best chance to do, to go that way. So, that's the way they went. And my plan is trail up. That's where I think she'll be found. I think she will be found trail up to the ridge, and in there, or right along the tree line. She's up high in the boulder fields along this tree line. She's not down low anywhere. Unless she became blind and just like took off running downhill until she couldn't run no more. But I don't see that. I know I see that when the panic set in, that she still knew in her mind, shelter survival is the lookout. I have to get there no matter what. And that was her goal. And that's where she went. So that's where we're at. I'm waiting to talk to Brad. I don't like getting in the middle of family squabbles. I don't like being disparaged or persecuted because, I know that somebody's all, oh, why are you best friends with Jamie? You're best friends with Jamie. It's like, no, it's like, he's a great guy. He's a good guy. He's out there looking. I stand beside whoever's out there looking. That's where I stand. If you're out there looking, I'm standing by you. If it wasn't Brad and it was Rachel's mom out there looking, I would be standing next to her. If it was this other guy versus Jamie out there looking, I would be standing beside him. I stand by the people who are out there looking. If you're out there looking, I'm out there looking. And if you're inexperienced out there looking, I'm definitely going to be out there because I'm going to make sure you see it through. Nobody's been hurt or injured in any of my adventures out in the wilderness. Whether it's just us guys going out and having fun. Like, we did this. We had this last year. We had pretty much the same scenario take place with me, Ryan, Kevin, and my buddy Dallas. And we were making it for Mountain Lookout in the dead of winter. But this was like February. All right. I mean, we couldn't get up the road hardly. There was like 2 feet of snow at the road and dumping, at Trailhead. So, we went up in there. We had snowshoes on. We were fully geared out. And we got up there a few miles, and it was just so exhausting that it got so late. And we were like, okay, this is what we got to do. We're not making it to the lookout tonight. We got to camp right here on the side of this mountain. And that's where we're going to be. So we immediately found a good place to shelter, built a kick-ass shelter. You can see it all on my Instagram pics, and built a fire. We built a porch, A-frame porch. We bowed out the whole entire, we had this little bow nest that we all stayed in, threw a tarp over the side of it, started a big fire. And then we're like, man, this is so pimp tight. We're going to stay here for 4 days. Why even go to the lookout? So that's what we did. We didn't even go to the lookout. We just stayed there for 4 days and crappy conditions because, you know, we could do it. So nobody's ever been hurt or injured. I always see people back. Case in point, Saturday, I know, you know, the mom was like, "Oh, Bud's a one-man show, and he's gonna kill people, and nobody needs to be killed or dead or blah blah blah." You know, everybody came out just fine. Nobody got hurt, and that's because I'm not an idiot. I'm not an amateur. You know, my dad was a SAR guy. My dad was an entrepreneur, jack of all trades, master of many. You know, the utmost thing is application. If you apply yourself to anything, you will become proficient at it. You know, study and practice will make you proficient at everything, at anything. Anything I put my mind to, I can accomplish it. That's the type of dude I am. And, you know, I don't just half-passingly just do stuff. I put all my focus and energy into being the best at whatever I'm doing. Because that's just my character. That's just who I am. Case in point, all this stuff. You know, I follow the procedures and the rules of the things I practice. Sure, I'm not certified. I didn't go to school for certified and get my little talisman, you know, of certification of, oh, nothing bad's going to happen to me. Because if I remember right, I guess the SAR guy fell and broke his arm at some point. So that certification didn't save him injury, and it won't save anybody. Experience won't save everybody. You know, the best mountaineers out there die all the time because it's dangerous. Just like you see lots of carpenters who have missing fingers or, you know, scars from saws cutting them. I still have all my fingers. I don't have any gnarly saw cuts or gnarly wound tools that I use because I'm not an idiot. Because I'm a professional. Anything I do and anything I set my mind to, whether it's carpentry, whether it's tattooing, whether it's search and rescue, whether it's mountaineering, whether it's whatever it is, if I'm putting my mind to it, I'm going to become a professional. Because if not, what's the point? So that's what I wanted to address out there. Thanks for watching. I don't know where we're going from here. I'm waiting to talk to Brad. I don't want to let anybody down. But at the same time is, you know, I'm not gonna take the abuse. You know, there's no reason why we should take the abuse at all for going out there and try to search for a stranger and, you know, bring closure and happiness to strangers. Like, you know, it's only through compassion that we do it. And the fact that, you know, since we are able to do it, well, we should do it. Nobody else is doing it. We should step up and help. You know, so right now it's, yeah, we're 50-50 on, do we proceed and help in this situation, or, you know, or do we step back and just say, okay, hey, you don't want us part of it, we're out. You know, and I'm not a quitter, and I don't want to quit, and there'd be nothing greater than a smile on my face to go up there and find Rachel and make all the naysayers eat crow. You know, I don't go out there, you know, thinking that, oh, we're gonna win. You know, it's to me, it's a losing battle every time. You know, and that's true courage. True courage is knowing you're gonna lose, but you saddle up anyways, as John Wayne will say it. You know, I know that, like, the probability of me finding anybody out there is slim for the sheer reason that it's tough. A lot of people are found years later in the same place that was searched previously. The statistics are against you when it comes to finding deceased lost persons. Finding live lost persons is a lot better chance than deceased ones. So, you know, so when I go out there, I don't go out there thinking, oh yeah, this is the day we're gonna find her. No, I go out there knowing, okay, this is the day we clear more area. This is the day where, you know, we clear more area of where she's not. That's where my mind is. That's what the view I go out there with in my mind. And then, you know, there's no disappointment for me at all. You know, I'm still achieving my goal, and that is clearing the mountain and knowing where she is not. Because every place we know where she's not, then we slowly start shrinking it down to the places of where she's gonna be. You know, and that's what it's gonna be. So we'll keep you guys updated. Sorry when I come off hot under the collar, and I know some people say delete the post and everything, but you know, you live with your words. You know, and you know that's another reason why I put my stuff out there. So hey, I want to be transparent. You know, I want people to know what's going on, the truth. You know, actions speak louder than words, and we're acting, and everybody else is sitting from the comforts of their warm homes, safe and snug, and you know, want to just armchair quarterback and not know what it's really like out there. Hey, look, if you don't know, ask. You know, do some research. You know, and don't listen to the haters, because that's what, you know, I'm sure this is what Betty and, you know, and that side of the family, they're just listening to the haters. And it's like, I really like to know who this SAR person is that's filling Haley's mind full of stuff, because I guarantee you he's probably not a SAR person. He's probably just one of those trolls from the Sam Sayer search that calls himself a SAR person. But anyway, so thanks for watching. I'll keep you guys updated on where we're going to go. I'm waiting to talk to Jamie and talk to Brad and talk to the other guys of the 49th Parallel. You know, because yeah, we're all pretty demoralized right now. We're all hurting. There's nothing worse than a family member of the person you're putting your life on the line to find, knowing that they're deceased, is bad mouthing you and disparaging against you. You know, it's like, why do I need to be out in the danger zone and have somebody sitting back somewhere in the part of the world just, you know, praying I get hurt so their words ring true, or praying somebody that's with me gets hurt so their words ring true, you know, because they don't want to seem wrong. Nobody ever wants to be wrong, you know. So it's like, why do I want to take that risk of having that energy being focused on us when we're in that area? So we'll keep you updated on where we're going to go from here. Thanks for watching. You know, thanks for all the support, all the love. And know that whatever choice we make is, you know, is going to be the right one for everyone involved that's involved with us. You know, we're going to make a group choice on what's the best way to go from here with my guys, with Jamie, and with Brad. I'm seeing some comments up here. Yeah, thanks. You know, everybody, and God bless. Have a good night. Be safe out there. If you're out there traveling alone, please, please, please be prepared. Even if you're not experienced, have the equipment you need. You know, make sure you leave, you know, take a roll of ribbon with you if you're in the forest. Take a carpenter's black crayon if you're in the boulder fields. That way you could just mark on the boulders X, because those things write on wet wood or wet rock, you know, of where you came from. You got you some flagging tape in the trees. Always be thinking about how you can survive. And then also, if it does come down to it, of I'm going to lose my life out here, how can I make it easy for those looking for me to find me, to bring me home to my loved ones? So thanks again, guys. Love you all. Thanks for the support. Good night.